Good evening, everybody. This is the Redevelopment Commission meeting for Monday, December 10th. My name is Caleb. I'm the Vice President filling in for Jason, who's out of state. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Sierra?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will start with a roll call. Dick Robertson is here.
I'd like to welcome our...
I'm going down the line.
Oh, okay.
Sierra Messenger is our new commissioner. Welcome to the commission.
Thank you very much.
And myself, we're missing Bob and Jason. Part of the roll call tonight is to swear in Sierra. Mr. Mayor.
Sierra, if you'd stand and raise your right hand for me, please. I, Sierra Messenger,
I, Sierra Messenger,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am a resident of the City of Lebanon,
that I am a resident of the City of Lebanon,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will
faithfully,
honestly, and impartially discharge my duties
and impartially discharge my duties
as a member of the Lebanon Redevelopment Commission,
as a member of the Lebanon Redevelopment
according to the law,
I'm sorry, what?
according to the law,
Oh, according to the law
and to the best of my skill and ability.
and to the best of my skill and ability.
There you go.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, welcome, Sierra. Our next item is approval of minutes. I believe we have a couple sets of minutes to approve. I think we had September and October to approve, and maybe even November's. Well, we should have November's to approve. I know last time we did not have quorum and we postponed yet again.
I just have November.
You just have November?
I just have November.
Okay. Has everybody reviewed the November meeting minutes?
We probably better wait since we only have two.
Okay.
And we don't have a majority
We will
to accept
postpone the
it.
November meeting minutes.
Okay.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is old business. This is a notice of public hearing for the Patterson Street project. The declaratory resolution was read last meeting in November, and Ben from the Planning Department is here to present and recap the project for us.
Good evening, Commission members. I'll give you a little high-level overview of the project and what we're doing here tonight, and I'll let the folks from UMBA who know more about the financing side of this go into that, but I'll give you an overview of the project itself. I'm sure you're all fairly familiar with this site. This is the old Prairie Industry site on Patterson Street. It's been vacant for a number of years now and has been deteriorating significantly. In addition to just the condition of the building, the condition of the site itself in terms of environmental issues is pretty severe as well. We've done some phase 1 and phase 2 analysis of the site, and there's significant environmental conditions on the site. So this was going to continue to deteriorate if we weren't able to find a partner that would have the expertise to clean this up and put it in a productive use again. We have thankfully been able to identify a partner that specializes in these types of sites. The company is called Enviro Forensics, and they have acquired the site and have begun the demolition of the existing building, which is going to take some time. We're talking about an extensive building. And they are evaluating the possibility with some of their additional development partners of putting up a speculative industrial building to replace what is there now, bring it back into productive use, providing us additional employment opportunities, et cetera. The reason this is coming before you during this process is that the cost associated with prepping the site for development is significant, and so significant that it's much more expensive to develop the site than just go do a greenfield site. So that's the challenges here. If you compare this site and the redevelopment of the site to just putting it out on a greenfield site, say in the business park, those site prep costs are 10, 20 times what it would be on a greenfield site. So they're really at a disadvantage even to evaluate and investigate this site for potential development. So I use a test I call the but-for test. But for a support from the city, this project would not happen. So they have indicated that the costs are so significant to prepping the site, which include both the demo of the building and excavating 6 to 8 feet of soil out of there that's so contaminated you can't do anything but just get rid of it, that this project would not be financially feasible without some sort of support for the city. So that's what we've looked at. The two alternatives are the city does not support the project and we continue to have the building that's there now with the environmental conditions and the soil, or we look at an opportunity to try to use the tax increment that's created by the project, reinvest it back in the project, essentially to reimbursement for some of those costs that are above and beyond what you would typically have on a site like this. So that's what we're looking at doing on the public hearing here related to the creation of the TIF district allocation area itself. But the second piece of that then is it would be a developer purchase bond. So again, what we'd basically be doing is using the tax increment created by the project to reimburse them for those costs associated with the development. All of the risk is borne by the developer in this case because they're self-purchasing, they're in line to make the investment in the property that creates the tax increment. So if they don't build the building, they don't get payments back. So as long as they self-perform, they will get reimbursed. If they don't perform the project, they don't get anything. So all the risk is borne by the developer in this case. The only thing we're pledging is what they create. So it's a good deal for the city. We're getting a site cleaned up that needs to be cleaned up, and we're getting a productive use as an alternative. I have been asked, this is along the trail. It'd be great if you could do something, like maybe some residential uses or maybe like a burger stand or something like that. The challenge is even though they're excavating 6 to 8 feet of soil, the site is still too dirty in order to meet the EPA standards for residential uses. So they're cleaning, this extensive cleanup they're doing will only get them to the point where they could put in a productive industrial type use there. They can't get it to the point where physically can't get it to the point where they could do a use like residential or commercial there. So while we would love to see that, it's just not possible with what's happened in that site over the last 60 to 80 years. So we think this is a good option for this site. So that's a quick overview, but happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Commissioners? Okay, thank you, Ben. At this time, we will open it up to a public hearing. If you have comment for this project, please state your name and your address and try to keep it to 2 to 3 minutes, please. Okay, seeing no takers, we will close the public hearing. On to any further comments from the commissioners? On to the next agenda item, new business. It is the conformatory resolution 2018-15 for this same project, Patterson Street project. And I will refer to Rob to read the resolution.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Vice President and Commissioners. This is Resolution 2018-15. And it states that this declaratory resolution was approved, an economic development plan for the economic development area. The declaratory resolution designated the entire economic development area known as an allocation area to be referred to as the Patterson Street allocation area. The Lebanon Plan Commission on November 19th, 2018 approved and adopted an order determining that the declaratory resolution and plan conform to the plan of the development for the city and approving the declaratory resolution and the plan. The Common Council of the City on November 26, 2018 adopted a resolution which approved the declaratory resolution, the plan, and the Plan Commission order. At the public hearing held by the Commission on this December 10, 2018, the Commission heard all persons interested, or at least gave an opportunity to hear them all, in the proceedings and considered any written remonstrances that were filed. The Commission now desires to take final action determining the public utility and benefit of the proposed development projects for the economic development area and confirming the declaratory resolution. After considering the evidence presented at the public hearing, this Commission confirms the findings and determinations, designations, and approving and adopting actions contained in the declaratory resolution. This Commission hereby finds and determines that it will be a public utility and benefit to proceed with the proposed projects set forth in the plan, and the plan is hereby approved in all respects. The declaratory resolution is hereby confirmed, and it constitutes final action. That's it.
Thank you, Rob.
And I would also say, Mr. Vice President, Commission, we do have representatives from Umball here. If you have any questions, they're willing to answer those if you have any.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for Umball?
I don't.
Okay. Taking no further questions from the Commissioners, I will entertain a motion to approve conformatory resolution 2018-15 for.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 2018-15.
Do I hear any seconds?
Second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against, say aye. Hearing nothing against, motion is approved for resolution 2018-15. Next item on the agenda is the downtown facade request for 101 West Main Street. And from my understanding, we have a presentation by the Historic Preservation Committee. Darren?
Good morning, or good evening,
Good evening.
Commission. Sorry, it's been a long day. Seems like it's still morning. In front of you tonight is a grant application for 101 West Main Street to rebuild the rear soffit that is now located in a courtyard in the back of the building, the south-facing wall. To give you a brief overview, once upon a time, until recently, this courtyard didn't even exist. Somewhere over time, it did. It was finished off as space, and the current property owner has opened it back up and created a really cool feature for this building, a very unique feature, the only one that I'm aware of in our downtown inventory, which the apartment upstairs, which I'm going to talk about here in a second, will have direct access to a private courtyard in the back. So the soffit rebuild is in the work estimates that was provided to you, the breakdown. The first bid is $7,212.88, and the second bid is $8,000. This is for new support, new soffit, new metal fascia, gutter system, the whole 9 yards to protect it all from the elements. So it is a complete rebuild of the that rear soffit. Let me see. I know you all have pictures, and I'm bound and determined to go paperless. So let me see if I can get this to work.
No, but not. Light reflects off of it.
Oh,
Pass it to Dick for the
thought I
secretary.
had a. No, that's a little bit better, maybe. So you can see the back door here, that and the soffit is up here that's being rebuilt. You can faintly, in your pictures, I know you can see them up there. Commission at home, you probably cannot, but there was a line here and a line there that indicated where the old roof was. So that has been removed, leaving the need to reconstruct some of that. So, I'd also like to add that, and the applicant can talk about this here in a second, but this particular building is a shining star of the benefit of this grant program. Every dime that this commission has granted has gone right back into the building, not only the facade of the building, but also the interior. There is an apartment upstairs in this building that's nearly complete. I've been fortunate enough to be invited up to see it several times along the way, have fell in love with it. This apartment, if I wasn't right smack dab in the middle of raising a 9-year-old and it was my wife and I would be begging to rent this thing. It is Rush Street level, Chicago, loft style. It is the pinnacle of apartments in Lebanon. There's nothing like it here in town. The finishes are all high end. The bathroom alone is something you would see over in a Austin Oaks, Zionsville $1 million home. And I'm not exaggerating about that. And I'm sure, just as I've been invited, these property owners have extended invites to anybody who'd like to come and see it. In fact, my last visit, we talked about that. And I will tell you, just when I think I've seen every perfect view of downtown, I stumble across another one, and this apartment has the most unbelievable view of the tremendous changes that have happened downtown. Not only do you get a view of the courthouse, but you also have a view of the catenary line of Meridian Street when it's all lit up. I mean, this is going to be the place to live for sure. In fact, I mentioned you're not even going to need a TV in this apartment. You're going to set up 2 couches and look out the window and just get lost in the views. So I think you have all the information you need from me tonight to make a grant determination, but I will turn it over to the applicant here to talk a little bit more about the overall project and what they have invested on elements of the building that aren't even grant eligible. So
Before you step down, this qualifies for the full grant, right? This is the 100%
it does, yes.
match?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And I believe if I recall correctly, we haven't come close to using the full.
No, in fact,
amount.
I've got those numbers for you. I'm glad you said that, Caleb. This year, without this grant, we have granted $207,000, 375. You know, this early winter has stalled a lot of the projects that have been granted, unfortunately, and you won't see, gosh, 4 of them actually completed until probably spring of next year, just because a lot of them require outdoor painting and just work that this, you know, February-like weather isn't going to be conducive to. So 2019, you will see all this 2018 money grant pay off, but even with tonight's grant, you're still below the 250 that was set aside for this year.
Okay, thank you. I do have some questions for the owners, if they don't mind. So if I understand correctly, if you could state your name real quick, if you don't mind.
Yes, my name is Mark Sullivan, and with me is my partner, Terry Roy. She and I are the owners of Sullivan & Roy, which owns this building. We bought it 2 years ago.
Okay, thanks for joining us, Mark. Yeah. So my question is, it faces the south, correct, the project location?
Yes, yes.
How open is it to the passing public, I guess? And
it's not very.
Okay.
You can see it if you look up as you're walking down behind our building. There's a pathway that runs all the way back to the courtyard, as Derek described it.
Okay.
And once as you're transitioning through the alley there, you can see the soffit area,
Sure.
the back area.
Okay, so there's a courtyard. It does not necessarily spill out into the Key Bank parking lot on the south side?
No, it does not.
Key Bank. Okay.
No, there's a courtyard.
I'm just trying to get my bearings. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And
Okay.
the courtyard sort of came about very early on. I think it may have even been Joe's suggestion. I'm trying to think back when we were first talking about what we wanted to do with that area. It was a covered area and it was used for storage. There was a retail establishment by the name of Adler's, which I'm not familiar with, but for those folks who've been around Lebanon for quite a long time are very familiar with it. But anyways, it was there had been a wall collapse in 2012. They covered up that area basically, and it was used for storage. We uncovered it. We've rebuilt the back wall, and that's what this last sort of piece is when the wall collapsed back in 2012, it took with it the soffits, guttering, a lot of the support back there that we need in order to create a weatherproof, basically to seal it up, that back area.
Sure.
So that's what we're here for.
So you're restoring the building back to its original glory?
We're trying to.
Yeah, and you've been, if I recall right, you've been a recipient of our other grants and
yes, thank you very much for that.
And we've seen noticeable changes, and we applaud you on your efforts on that. It looks really good. So.
Well, and I appreciate that. We're working as best we can, but we've been running into problems with the weather, with contractors. We're not contractors by profession, and so it's been a brave new world for us, trying to find contractors and then to keep them within budget. We had a parting of the ways with a contractor recently who'd done just about all of our masonry work because he wanted it, once he was done with the project, removing all the paint and tuck pointing all the bricks in the building itself, he wanted an additional $6,000, which we respectfully declined, and then he decided to pull the plug on anything else that he was going to do for us, including the front fascia storefront area. So we've been scrambling around trying to find a contractor to do that for us, and
sure.
Yeah, it's been a real education. So
did I hear Darren say right that you already have someone filling the apartment or ready to move into the apartment?
we just lost our tenant on the first floor, so we are in the market for another tenant. Although we've gotten a call already from someone, and we've heard some rumors that there's some other people that are looking. But yes, Derek has already put his name in on the list for tenants. And could I just take a couple of minutes to show you a little bit about...
Absolutely.
This just is, I like doing the before after.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can... Okay, this is the before showing it's actually this oriented that way. There's the collapsed wall. It took basically that whole subflooring with it in this area. This is the back wall, then the soffits are out that way. There's a roof overhang. That's before when we first bought the building. This is the after now. We've got tile on the floor. We've rebuilt the back wall. We put a door there. It's going to be leading out to the courtyard. I wouldn't advise you to go there yet because we don't have any balcony yet, but so that first step is a doozy. But that's one part, one thing we've done. Just moving from the back to the front, this shows the electricals as they existed when we bought the building. It was just a tangled mess of wires that had no, I don't think any, they hadn't been done by an electrician qualified. We have ATEC now do all our work. That's that same area that you're looking at, shows the tile floor. We've got conduit on the outside. Everything's up to code through ATEC, a local company here that we've had a real good working relationship with. This is an interesting picture. It's a hallway that leads to the back room where we rebuilt the wall. And we were told by our carpenter that Adler's must have had a stairway that led up to them, so they must have had inventory that they stored up there, but the whole thing was just totally rickety. If you took a step there, you'd probably sink a foot. So we had to rebuild all of the structure below it, and this is how it looks now. And we still have that same tile, that checkerboard tile that leads out to the back room, and then this is the hallway tile that we have in place now. This is the bathroom before, and this is showing the floor itself. You can see all the beams were cut, and we had to take those all up. We had to run all new plumbing through there. This is the bathroom in that corner now as it looks. Got tile on the wall, the brick shows. We think it's really a nice looking room for us. This is also the bathroom. This is more in the shower area, where the shower area is now. And again, it just shows how badly deteriorated the whole area was. This is what it looks like now. We've got a shower enclosure, a tile on the wall, of course, all high-end plumbing fixtures. This is, moving again forward to the front, this is my partner Terry here. We do a lot of our own work. We've spent probably every weekend, it seems like, since we bought this place 2 years ago, working at least one day a week. That was scraping the wallpaper off. This is sort of the entrance room, the foyer. This is what it looks like now. We wanted to make it look like a subway station. Cool. So this is the door leading out to the hallway. That's the bathroom door that we were showing you, the bathroom. This is all tile work, and that's the Main Street stop of the subway. So we thought that was kind of a nice touch. The ceiling, the ceiling, we tore all the ceiling out. It was all lath and plaster and moldy. And we allowed the beams to show, which the beams are incredible. I mean, they're that old wood, you can't even hardly cut it with a saw. It's so thick and dense. But new lights, electrical for ATEC. Seth Jones did all of our AC, heating and air conditioning. It's all on the exterior. This is again is that same room, the subway room. That's Terry working again. And then this is a little another view of that subway look that we were looking to have. And then this last thing I'll show you is just the ceilings as they look when we got this, when we bought this building. It was all drywall, and it was pretty much all mold because the water had leaked through the roof. It was all blown in insulation. It was just a mess. So we had to do quite a bit of demolition work. I think, Terry, last count, we had 8 truckloads of debris that we've hauled out of that building. Thankfully, the parking guys let us do that without hitting us too hard with tickets. But this is sort of what we wanted to look like. Showing the old beams, the dense beams. Having really courting that industrial look. So I'm bragging. I'm taking up more time than I really need to on this, and it's just we're proud of the building. We want it to be a real show place. We're very appreciative of all Derek's input and the mayor, too, and Joe. Everybody's helped us along the way because, again, we're novices at this first building we've ever owned. We're trying to do the best job we can, and we certainly appreciate all the financial assistance you guys have been able to provide.
Well, speaking, at least for myself, I don't know about the rest of the commissioners, but I'm just happy that someone's blazing the trail for the second floor space in downtown Lebanon, either apartment or retail or whatever it is. So I applaud your efforts and keep up the good work. So.
Well, we're going to have a big old party once we get it done. We're hoping we're shooting for the spring or summer, and we'll light up that courtyard like it's New Orleans. I tell you what. And we'll invite you guys all to it. What Derek said is true. Anytime you want to come and take a look at it, we're more than happy to show it off, show you, what we've done and what we still have yet to do. So,
thank you, Mark.
anything else, Derek? Okay.
Commissioners, do you have any
Thank you.
questions?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the facade grant request for $7,212.88. I will, yeah, okay. You'll second that?
Yeah.
Move up to the microphone so we can hear you.
I second that motion.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, next item is, it's called the IDEF Award Authorization. In brief, the state has granted money to a local company, XPO, and Mayor Gentry will give a brief presentation on that.
Thank you, Caleb. Just a quick explain what happened. So this is back part of the economic development deal with the state when XPO, located in Lebanon, earlier this year. This was part of the state's award to them, was this IDGF grant. Essentially, it's state money that comes to the RDC, and then this RDC then awards it to XPO. So this wasn't our money. This was something from the state as part of that economic development deal that brought close to 1,200 jobs to Lebanon. So that's just part of that.
Thank you, Mayor. There is no motion or resolution required for this, and it's just a...
We do need a motion to authorize the release.
Oh, okay, we do need a motion. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to release the funds to XPO from the state.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the release of the funds from the state to XPO.
I will second that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Hearing none opposed, the motion is passed. Okay, next item on the agenda are the claims. Commissioners have any questions about the claims received?
I'll make a motion we approve claims.
Second that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Motion is approved. And then entertain a motion to adjourn. I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion
I
to
will-
adjourn. Speak up.
I second that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you. The
Thank
next
you.
RDC meeting is January 14th at 6:30 p.m.
You got to get your name in the record.
I know.
You don't be bashful. Speak up.
These are the claims.